features, if you like, of a savage, which are not killing, not stealing, and not committing adultery. And
to be in the presence of the Satya is to gain peace and serenity.
We are always in the center of our own horizon.
Meditation in that respect helped me to broaden my outlook on life and over 30 years ago, this green land that you see now used to be so dry.
Sawadee-ka, hello and welcome back to Meditation for All. On last week's episode of Meditation and Self-Development, Reverend Nicholas shared with us the 4 bases of sympathy and the ways to help us better communicate with others for our own self-development. Today, he will talk about the 6 kinds of social groups which we must keep in mind to help us solve the problems in the world today.
welcome back to the last of our second mini-series on meditation and self-development. Last lesson we already spoke a little bit about the conditional and unconditional applications of the 4 bases of sympathy, or the emotional bank account, in building up the channels of communication with those around us which we need for our self-development. This lesson we come to talk more about the social groups which we apply these principles to help us solve many of the problems pervasive in the world today. Problems sometimes which threaten the very existence of the world itself, whether it be things like war, crime, corruption, vice, or even prostitution. However, these problems don't come from the world itself. The problems can all be traced back to the habits of the people inhabiting the world. And by habits, in fact, it's exactly the same thing which we are interested in from the point of view of self-development. Habits mean the things that we do, say, or think until having become used to them. And these habits can be either good or bad. A person's habits are like the personal program which they have, which drive and influence them to do the same things again and again. If the things which they do are good things, or positive things, wholesome things, then it will lead them to prosperity and eventually happiness in their lives. However, if they continually do bad or unwholesome things, then the things which happen to them will be more and more unfortunate, and they find themselves coming to a point where they've made a mess of their lives. So the effect of habits can be very influential indeed. It's not just a question of judgment in this case. It's not like someone is saying that it's good or bad, but some things are just plain stupid to do, like wearing a shoe of the wrong size will eventually hurt your feet if you try walking with it. This is not saying that the shoe is good or bad, but it's saying that it's a stupid thing to do, or it's an inadvisable thing to do because it is inadvisable in itself. So we're not making moral judgments here, but we're talking about the nature of what actually happens if you develop particular sorts of habits. But if we look at the problems of the world in terms of habits, in fact it's a very positive way of trying to come to some sort of solution for these problems. Because the thing about habits is that just as we were the ones who formed them in the first place, then we can also undo them as well. The nice thing about habits is that they are not our fate, they're not our destiny, but like a program in a computer, in fact we can rewrite the program if we wish to. We are not only the computer in such a case, but we can also be the programmer too. And if we can apply habits which are helping us to form a sense of responsibility for human dignity, for ourselves, for those around us, and for the economy of the country in which we live, then in fact these can be the sort of habits which lead us towards prosperity and progress in our self-development. So what sort of responsibilities do we actually mean, and how can we develop these forms of responsibility in our lives? Well, first of all, we need to have responsibility for our human dignity on a personal level. And this can mean that we don't allow ourselves to succumb to the sort of behaviors which would be more befitting of a savage. And we can do this by trying to abstain from 4 particular sorts of behavior, which are behaviors, if you like, of a savage, which are not killing, not stealing, not committing adultery, and not telling lies. Because if we succumb to any of these behaviors, then it will seem that we are taking advantage of the weaknesses of others, which is not really befitting of a noble human being at all. The second sort of responsibility which we're trying to build up is responsibility for the human dignity of other people as well. And the way which we can show our respect for the human dignity of others is not being prejudiced or biased when we're making decisions about them. This is particularly important when we are in positions of influence or where our decisions are influencing the lives of others. So how can we do that? Well, we have to make sure that our decisions are free of the influence of greed or hatred, ignorance, or even fear. Sometimes we see a person in fear as a person who needs sympathy, but in fact, from the point of view of decision making, if we allow fear to creep into our decisions, it can be a very destructive thing for the dignity of other people. There's always someone who is left at a disadvantage. There's nothing wrong with having a certain degree of comfort or convenience in our lives, but it depends how we get or obtain these things for ourselves. Because if comfort and convenience are things which we obtain for ourselves at the expense of the comfort and convenience of others, then that's hardly fair, it's hardly wholesome, and it doesn't do much for the richness of our own state of mind either. In such a case, it's said that we shouldn't be spending our own money or encouraging other people to spend their money on 6 particular forms of vice in our society. And by this we mean consuming alcohol or intoxicants, roaming the streets at unseemly hours, especially the sort of things which include nightclubs or prostitution, addiction to entertainment, gambling, bad company, and also laziness. You have a total of 14 things which show irresponsibility towards human dignity, as you can see from these 3 different categories of responsibility which we've been talking about. And if we want to overcome these shortcomings in our habits, the shortcomings in the irresponsibility of our habits, then we have to look at what sort of solutions we can bring to bear to overcome these. Well, there are short-term solutions, medium-term solutions, and long-term solutions for these sort of problems in our society. We can apply them to ourselves, or we can apply them on a more broad social basis. In the short term, sometimes there are behaviors in society which are simply not acceptable. Sometimes you don't even have enough time to explain the harm of certain behaviors. We have to get people to stop them first, and only later maybe can we give them the reasons for that. Therefore, in the short term, we need to have clear rules and regulations to stop people indulging in the 14 forms of irresponsible behavior mentioned earlier. In the medium term, we may try to explain more about the harm of lacking responsibility in these 14 different senses. And in this sense, we have to have the patience and we have to have the inclination to go out and explain these things to others, to teach other people, to build up a right sense of understanding for them, and make sure that those forms of responsibility are becoming a habit in their own minds as well. We have to make sure, of course, that we have a right understanding for ourselves first, and we have responsible things in our own habits first before we can start to be a good example to others. But once we do gain these things for ourselves, we can start to reach out to other people with these good habits and train up the people around us to have these habits too. In the long term, we need to reach out to 6 particular groups around us in society, which are the 6 most influential groups in our own self-development. And by this we mean our own parents. It's the first group we're dealing with. The second group is our academic teachers. Third group is our husband or wife, if we have one. The fourth group is our own friends. The fifth group is our subordinates or employees. And the sixth group is our spiritual leaders or spiritual teachers. Sometimes in society we see that the nuclear family is the minimum unit of our society. But in fact, from the point of view of our self-development, we see that it's not so simple as that. There are many more people in society around us who affect the quality of our spiritual development. For example, the first and third groups we just mentioned represent the family institution. The second group we mentioned represents the educational institution. The fifth group represents our working environment. The fourth group represents our socializing in general. And the sixth group represents the spiritual establishment. So although we're just talking about 6 different social groups, but in fact we can see that there may be many thousands of people who affect our ability to have spiritual well-being in life. So this is why we need to reach out with our long-term strategy in order to influence the whole of society, especially through these 6 groups, to become better and stronger. Supposing we are talking about the parent-child relationship, then we have to make sure that we bring up our children not just to be strong and healthy in a physical way, but also to have a sense of responsibility in their lives, to be able to tell a difference between right and wrong from an early age. Sometimes parents neglect this. They think that simply sending their children to a good school or making sure that they're well clothed and fed is enough. But in fact, because children are made up of both body and mind, we need to care for their minds as well. Otherwise, they may just grow up into becoming healthy, strong ruffians. If we're talking about the husband-wife relationship, then again, we should think about it more as a partnership where you're living together, not just simply for sensual pleasures, but in fact to build upon the good habits both of you have. If you have the feeling in your own marriage that you have bad habits which you like to keep secret from your husband or wife, then it's as if the partnership is not really helping you to become a better person. Really, it should be more a partnership where you are sharing the virtues which you have between husband and wife, so that you can complement one another and you can improve both of you as a person, so that your spiritual development is enhanced by the fact that you are married. This would be a more sensible reason to become married than simply because of attraction by their appearance. And in the workplace, instead of it just being a place where we earn our wages, we can see it more as a place where we are training ourselves in the habits of responsibility and altruism, which are going to add to our ability for self-development. Sometimes in the workplace it's simply a question of one side taking advantage of another, where the unions are trying to take advantage of the employers and vice versa, so that they can get the most work done for the minimum of wages. But in fact, if we see the workplace more as a place where we are showing off our craftsmanship and we are developing ourselves in spiritual matters, then we can see that the whole issue of the workplace can be a much more fruitful place for working in a spiritual dimension. And last but not least, the first priority of our spiritual leaders is to accrue good habits for themselves first of all, and also to have the inclination to teach for the benefit of others. If spiritual leaders are not teaching for the benefit of others, sometimes it's as if they are neglecting their duties, because our society is very much lacking in spiritual wisdom, and this has to come from those who have more chance to study it. So the important conclusion which we get from this 3-stage process of acquiring responsibility in our habits is that we shouldn't go finding fault with other people. We've got to look at ourselves first. We have to see whether we are responsible persons ourselves first before we start to find fault with others. We should try to develop ourselves as far as possible using spiritual teachings which we know. And if we examine ourselves in this way regularly, we'll see that we all still have a long way to go. Once we start to perfect ourselves more, then we will have more ability to reach out to others with the virtues which we have, so that we can encourage others around us to be interested in self-development too. If we can do this, especially in the 6 groups we have talked about, which are our 6 directions, then we will find that society does become a much stronger and more stable place, and a place which is a pleasure to grow up in, a pleasure to work in, and a pleasure to lead our lives in. All of these things, of course, affect the richness of the mind which we bring with us to our meditation. If we are those who are versed in enlightened living, then when we come to meditate, we will find that we are able to make progress without end. So during the coming week, why not try observing how you treat your 6 social groups in your nearest and dearest, and you'll find that if you are dealing with these in the proper way, then your own ability for responsibility will be enhanced a great deal. At the same time, if you find that you are being hindered in your meditation, then try checking out yourself to see if you are succumbing to any of the 14 forms of irresponsibility which we mentioned earlier. If you find you still have doubts about your own progress, or if you have doubts about some of the spiritual lifestyle which goes with meditation, then do feel free to get in contact with the Meditation for All program with any queries which you may have. I'm afraid that this is the last session of the present mini-series of meditation and self-development, but in fact we are looking forward to seeing you for a brand new series in the upcoming season. In the meantime, please keep up your meditation and don't forget to study the culture of peace that goes with meditation, which I will warn you in advance is sometimes a lifelong task.
You may have wondered why, on some Buddhist ceremonies, people walk around in a clockwise direction around a satya, vihara, or some other important monument or figure. Today, on Buddhist culture, you will get a better understanding of the importance of this practice known as Taksinavatra in paying homage to the Lord Buddha.
It is proper to pay respect using the right hand side. We can stimulate our lives by walking to our right in a clockwise direction. To be in the presence of the Satya is to gain peace and serenity. The Satya, the image of Lord Buddha, or the Vihara, are all assumed to be the center of Lord Buddha's immortal truth. It is said that they are connected up along the zenith line to the true realm of immortality, nirvana, and to spiral clockwise to the center is to connect our lives with the real immortal axis. To perform the Taksinawatra is to walk clockwise around the axis of truth. And the Taksinawatra is a respectful manner of paying homage to the Lord Buddha and his ultimate truth. Yes, it is to walk peacefully, first by the right foot, with the right arm alongside the axis, the Satya or Vihara. The Taksinawatra can be performed anytime, on any day. The objective is to gain peace. A person should chant while walking around with both hands clasped together at chest level, as though the hands are a lotus bud, or as if the person is holding a lotus in both hands. But in the evening, it is better to hold a lit candle while walking around and chanting. On Buddhist festive days, it is necessary to perform the Taksinawatra with a lit candle. On Visakha Day, the day that the Lord Buddha first turned his wheel of Dharma, or the Absolute Truth, Buddhists pay homage to him by performing the Taksinawatra with a lit candle. The stream of candlelight flows clockwise around the Satya. The Satya is the center of the flowing stream of life. It is to promise ourselves that lives are like the candle, burning down day by day over time. But it is wise to strengthen our connection to the eternal truth, to shorten the route to nirvana, the real life of eternity.
Now that we've learned about the practice of Taksinawatra, please join Reverend Biyasiro as he takes us to enjoy the horizon of life through meditation.
Everything has its own horizon. Wherever we are always in the center of our own horizon. Have you ever noticed this? Wherever, whoever we are, we have our own, and we are in the center of our own horizon. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. This is session 10 of part 2. We have come up to 20 meditation classes together. Hope you enjoy practicing and the fruits of meditation. Meditation is universal to all. If you are human beings, you can enjoy the fruits of meditation. We have equal chance of practicing and gaining the fruits of meditation. Meditation belongs to the world of the Oriental, especially in Buddhism, but it is not preserved only for Buddhists. It is for all. If you welcome meditation into your life, you enjoy meditation by yourself. And for newcomers, don't worry. It's easy to join the class at any time. Choose your own place for meditation, a quiet corner with any meditation material. For example, you might sit on the floor with a little support of a pillow, or you may sit on the chair in a cushion, any peaceful corner of your place. A drink of fruit juice or lukewarm water might be a good beginning of meditation. Now, I assume you are all ready to meditate. Let's close the eyes. Allow the eyelids close slowly and softly. Don't press them tight, otherwise we'll get serious all around the face. Let relaxation expand from the face area to other parts, down, to other parts of the physical body. Let loose all the muscles, all the nerves, everything belonging to the physical body. It is like we are soaked up with a stream of relaxation. A stream of relaxation covers the entire body. Let relaxation grow until the whole body can feel extreme relaxation. And we start to remind ourselves of the turning point. The turning point can be confirmed again and again by taking a good deep breath. Let's try. The turning point is in the center of the abdomen, where the in-breath that passes below the lungs starts to turn to become the out-breath. It's easy, just follow our deep breath, and the mind will focus at the turning point of the in-breath. This can be called the station of peace. We can call the turning point as a station of peace because whenever our mind focuses here, we gain peace. Peace occurs and increases right over here at this station. So in meditation, the mind always stays still, focuses softly, right in the station of peace, in the center of the body. Allow each minute pass by. When the mind focuses gently over here, confirm the existence of the motionless mind right here, again and again, with contentment. Imagine we are in the middle of our own horizon. Horizon could be defined as a circle, very big, stretching to all directions, 180 degrees all around. The far end of the horizon is the horizon of the sky. Now we are enjoying the sky of contentment. As long as the mind is in the center of the body, we enjoy the sky of contentment. Stay as if we are the center of the sky, of the horizon of contentment. This is a very good moment of life when the mind stops wandering. The mind learns to be motionless, stationing at the station of peace, in the center of the vast horizon. Each second is peaceful, and we enjoy this peaceful moment, no matter how long it will take. We enjoy, we are contented. We love this moment when we are at peace. Peace inside could be shared by means of radiation. The radiation of peace originates from a tiny spot in the station of peace inside. In the center of the abdomen, right at the turning point, a tiny spot could expand in diameter. It is like the manner of the bubble that grows bigger and bigger. Let the bubble from the center expand outwards in all directions, expanding, growing bigger and bigger until it covers our own body that is sitting in meditation. Let the process of expansion continue endlessly. The sphere is bigger, attaching loving kindness with it. Love, peace, loving kindness is going everywhere, attached with the expanding bubble of peace, until we fill up the whole sky, the entire horizon with peace. We share peace. This is inner peace that we share. We share peace. Peace prevails everywhere, in the sky of contentment, in the area of our own horizon, everywhere. Peace prevails everywhere. However, the center of the focus is always inside the abdomen. The turning point is always where the mind is. The mind is here. Loving kindness is everywhere. Sharing is covering everywhere in the horizon. World peace could originate from inner peace, and the only way to share inner peace is by means of meditation. When we meditate, we get inner peace, and we share, we radiate our inner peace to give to every being. So let's create world peace via inner peace from meditation. Even though time is up, we focus always in the center of the body. And if we are ready, we slowly open up the eyes and enjoy peace everywhere. I would like to say congratulations again, ladies and gentlemen. We have passed 20 sessions, and next time we'll go up to another level. That would be session 1 of part 3, where we would gain a more refined meditation result. Hope you enjoy meditation and become a good practitioner, meditation lovers, and until we meet again, have big success in meditation, big progress in meditation. Goodbye. สวัสดี
Today we have invited Vera Rungtragun to our studio to talk about the ways that meditation had affected her as a student of a top 10 university in the US. She found that going to a top university didn't help her find a true solution to the problems in society. Through meditation, she found her purpose and the strength to make a difference in the world. So please welcome her as she shares her experience with us.
Swadika. Hello, my name is Vera Rungtragun, and I recently graduated from the University of California, Berkeley, majoring in political science and Spanish language and literature. And I found that meditation has helped me in so many ways. It's hard to name every single thing that it has done for me, but for what I can say about how it affected me directly is that when I was a student, especially in high school and in college, I found that meditation really helped me to focus my thoughts and allow me to finish every project efficiently and effectively. When, as a student, there were so many projects, and I found that trying to think of every single project was really time-consuming and really taking a toll on my mind. And so before, when I was younger, my mom and my dad would take me to the temple and to meditate and to join the programs of the temple. But I never really understood what meditation was or really thought about how it affected me. I just did it because my parents told me to, and so I never really tried it out or believed in it. But when I came in high school, I started to realize that, okay, maybe this is really an effective way to handle all the stress and handle all the pressure, all the work of daily life and of school. And so I started to meditate, and I slowly realized that it helped to really focus my mind and really clear out all the thoughts that were troubling me. In university, studying at Berkeley taught me a lot of different things about how people interacted with each other, but it didn't really explain how problems could be solved. I watched the news, I saw the discussions in classes, and then there never really was a solution, and never really was a solution to all the problems presented. But after meditating a lot, or more often, it broadened the possibilities, for me at least. It changed my outlook in life in that before hearing all the negative news, all the wars, all the conflicts that were occurring, after hearing that, it made me angry, and it made me feel powerless and question humanity. But after meditating, it allowed me to still the mind and to actually see things for what it was. And by meditating, it didn't let my emotions get the best of me. And when that happened, I was able to see both sides of the story more clearly. And so it allowed me a different perspective. And from that, and by stilling the mind and just not really overreacting, it allowed me to see that I wasn't powerless to affect change in the world. And so through meditation, I felt that, okay, maybe I was able to make a difference in the world. And so after meditating more often and more continuously, I felt, okay, this is good. I can actually be a positive influence. And so meditation in that respect helped me to broaden my outlook on life and to feel as though I had a purpose, and that I could really do something about all the conflicts and make myself more determined to be a positive influence in society. And so in that respect, it gave me a purpose in life. And there's so many other benefits to meditation, such as, especially when I'm stressed or have a lot of projects due and a lot of activities that come one after the other, I found that just by taking a moment in the spare time that I have to make my mind still and to just stop thinking about every single thing that I had to do and stuff that didn't even occur yet. And so just by taking that extra moment, that spare moment, it allowed me to refocus and to, okay, start over, and okay, I could do this. It gave me more courage to handle each project effectively and more productively. So some people might think, okay, that extra time that you take to meditate could be used to finish all the projects that you have due. But I found that when I took some time off, whether it be 5 minutes or even a minute, to think, okay, clear the thoughts from my head and not think about anything in particular, that it actually made me more productive. That extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes of just sitting by myself and not worrying about upcoming projects allowed me to actually make my time, the time that I had, more productive. And so, although I haven't found much time to actually sit down and meditate for long periods of time, I try to still my mind and place my mind at the center of the body in every little moment, such as when I'm walking to school or when I'm working or when I'm driving, or just the little things. Moments when you think you don't have time, but actually you have quite a bit of time. And so when I'm walking to school or doing anything, I try to remember, okay, focus and not think about random things such as, oh, this, I have to do laundry, or I have to meet with a coworker, or activities such as that. And so by meditating, it refocuses me and allows me to concentrate on the task at hand. And so I found that in that sense, it's really allowed me to organize my time more efficiently and effectively, and allowed me to focus. And so a lot of my friends and my family, especially my parents, have said to me that, oh, you're very down to earth and you're very patient compared to other people they might have found. And so I found that meditating has helped me increase my patience. Before, I was pretty emotional. I didn't really take things as they were. And so by meditating, it allowed me to reevaluate myself and to really change the habits that I wanted to change. I found that meditation has allowed me to be able to handle all the problems that I had. But sometimes I try to reduce that stress by going to the movies or going with my friends. But when there's a lot of stress and a lot of problems, I find that meditation really, really helps me focus my mind. So meditation has given me inner strength and an inner clarity that I never knew I had before. So right now, I am continuing my studies at the Monterey Institute in California. I'm studying to be a translator and interpreter. And I found that without meditation, I wouldn't have been able to come to this point. So I'm really grateful that I've found meditation, and that I hope everyone who is interested in making a change in yourself and in the world, try meditation and give it a chance. It really is a positive activity that can change the world, and by changing first yourself. And so thank you very much, and สวัสดีค่ะ
Next, please join Vera Ruang Dragoon once again as she leads us on this week's tour of the temple to discover the land of peace.
สวัสดีค่ะ Hello and welcome back on the tour of Wat Phra Thamakai. My name is Vera Rungchagul, and today I'm taking you inside to help you get to know the land of Dharma, or the land where the truth of life unfolds. Over 30 years ago, this green land that you see now used to be so dry that everyone believed that it was impossible for any trees to grow here. It seemed almost hopeless for the seed of any plant to be planted here. But the Lord Buddha taught us to have hope. Bearing this teaching in mind, คุณยาย หลวงพ่อธรรมชโย and Lung Po Thata Jiwo put forth their every effort to turn this dry, acidic land into a green sanctuary, as you can see now. They started off first by digging a canal and finding water. And so with the canals in and around the area, this brought water. And with water came moisture. And it allowed the area to be cool. And so once water was found here, it allowed fast-growing trees to be grown. But the three founders didn't just choose any kind of plants to be planted here. They chose the Katinarong and the Takop because they were fast-growing trees that were able to be planted in unfertile soil. The Katinarong roots brought nitrogen to the soil, and its leaves were used as fertilizer for the soil. The Takop tree attracted birds, which came to eat its berries. The area was beautified by the singing of the birds, the song of the wind blowing through the trees, and the sound of the falling Katinarong leaves, and the coolness of the water. Little by little, the area turned into the woodland it is today. Until some even compared Wat Pratamakai to the Chetawan Mahavihan of Lord Buddha's time by transforming this plot of land from a very dry land into a woodland. The pioneers of Wat Pratamakai have reinforced the Lord Buddha's saying that there's not one place in this world where one cannot find hope. Lung Po Tamachayo once said, "Even in the heart of the cruelest man can the seed of virtue be planted and grown." Sawadee ka. Until next time.
We hope you have enjoyed our program. If you would like to write to us and share your meditation experience, please contact us at meditationforall@hotmail.com. As for today, goodbye. Sawadee ka.